Hey guys, what's going on? In this tutorial, we're going to continue from where we stopped. In the last video, we were able to create the templates, which were the index.html, and we learned about template inheritance where we inherited the layout from the layout.html file. We created an about page and a contact page and a login page. If we start our server, I'll say Python. First, activate my virtual environment by saying source env scripts and activate. So it's going to activate my virtual environment, and then I run with python app.py. So our server is going to run at port 5000. So if I go to the web browser and look for localhost 5000, when you see this kind of HTML, we can be able to navigate to the different pages of our application. However, the problem with this is it looks ugly, it does not look interesting. Now this introduces us to the concept of static files. Flask has a way in which it manages these static files, and this includes CSS, JS files, as well as images. So to add these CSS styles, we will be able to add the styles by going to our code and then creating a folder which we're going to call a static folder. So you're going to create a folder called static, and I can be able to add a CSS file. Let me say styles.css. So if I add this CSS file, the first thing I'm going to do is maybe to change the font of everything. So I'm going to say font family. Let me give it a font family of Helvetica, Arial, and sans serif. So if I save, then I'll go to my base.html file, and this is where it's actually layout.html. Now my layout.html, I'm going to go to the head part of the document, and I'm going to create a link. Now the href, in this case, we're not going to pass the href as we usually show it. What we're going to do is to point in the static folder. So we're going to include a variable, so I'm going to use the curly braces, and we're going to say URL for, then we point in the static folder, so I'm going to say static, and then we're going to point file name is equal to, so we're going to say our file name is going to be styles.css. So if I save and go back to the browser, I'm going to refresh, and we're seeing that our fonts are changing instantly. Now let's also add some other fonts. I'll go to the style.css, and then I'm going to say that we want all our anchor tags to not have any text decoration. So we're going to say text decoration is going to be none. And we're also going to say that for every item in a list, we want to have no list style. So we're going to say list style is equal to none. So when you go back and refresh, we're going to see that the anchor tags do not have any list style on them. Now when you look at our layout.html file, we can attach classes. So I can be able to say that nav class, then I may say this is going to be, let me name it nav bar. So if I save, I may come to styles.css and say .nav bar. So I may say that I want the padding to be 20 pixels. I may also label the nav anchor tag, so I may say .nav a, then I say I want each of them to have a padding of 15 pixels, and let me say I want the navbar to have a display of flex, and let's say we want to justify content to space between. Let me not know so much into the CSS because this is not a CSS tutorial. However, what I want to display is the CSS. So when I add these stylings, we can be able to see that the stylings have been added to our navbar. So if I go back, I can style the navbar again by saying we want a background color. Let's say we want a background color of, let's say, Doja blue. So we can set it as Doja blue, and then we say that we want our anchor tags to be of color white. So let's say we want them to also have text transform. Let's say we want text transform to be capitalized. We save. We have something that looks like this, and so we can also specify that we don't want any padding. So we can say padding is equal to 0. Good. Now after this, we can also specify that we need to have a footer in everything. So we can go to our layout.html and we specify a footer. So I'm also going to create a file called index.js. So I'm going to say index.js. And this is going to be the JavaScript folder for this example. So I'm going to go to layout.html. I'm going to press a script tag just before the closing tag of body. So I'm going to say script source, and then I'm going to say URL for. So I'm going to say this is going to be URL for. Then I say static. So the file name in this case is going to be equal to index.js. If I save this, I want to write a sample script. So I'm going to go to index.html, and then I say I'm going to create my folder, which is my footer. So it's going to be footer. And in this footer, I'm just going to write a div with a class of footer. So what we want to say is we want to get to write the HTML, to write some text in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say const date is going to be equal to a new. Let's say const date is going to be equal to a new date. Then we want to get the full year, so we're going to say get full year. We save this. Now we're also going to select a div, so we're going to say const footer is going to be equal to document dot query selector. So we're going to select the div with a class of footer, and all we'll do is just to write. So we're going to say footer dot inner text, inner HTML is going to be equal to. So we can specify some inner HTML. So we can say that we want a paragraph that says, let's say, and copy. We want a copyright. Then we want to add the date. So we may say that we want to add the date. Then we say Flask series. So if we save this and go back to our application, we'll be able to see that we have all. So this is supposed to be date, supposed to add this. So if I save, we'll see that our has been added with JavaScript. So in this video, we've been able to see how we can be able to include CSS and JavaScript files, which we refer to as static files. And if you feel you've learned from this video, please like, comment, and share this video so as to help someone learn. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos.